Beneath the quiet fields and river towns of America's Midwest, something uneasy is waking up. For months now, more than 200 small earthquakes have rippled under the Mississippi River Valley, a place most Americans never think of as earthquake country. This isn't California. There are no coastal cliffs or famous fault lines cutting the skyline. There are grain silos, steel bridges, water towers, suburbs, and highways, spread across one of the most dangerous, hidden rift zones on Earth. And if history is a guide, the New Madrid system doesn't always whisper before it roars. In the winter of 1811 to 1812, the ground convulsed so violently that church bells reportedly rang 1,000 miles away. The same forces are stirring again, and a growing number of experts warn that the next major quake in the mid-continent could rival anything the continental United States has ever seen. While the frontier slept, the earth beneath New Madrid, Missouri tore apart. Houses lifted and dropped. Trees fractured mid-trunk with gunshot cracks. The Mississippi, the young nation's lifeline, appeared to run backward, as if the river itself forgot which direction was home. That was only the opening blow. Two more massive shocks struck on January 23rd and February 7th, 1812, each seeming stronger than the last. Settlers wrote of the ground rolling in long waves like the prairie had turned to sea. Whole forests slumped into the muck, and a new lake, Reelfoot, in what is now Tennessee, took shape where woods had been. Chimneys toppled in Cincinnati. Bells trembled as far as Boston. Reports came from Canada. We felt it too. Imagine that kind of power today. Memphis in darkness, St. Louis with twisted bridges and broken riverfront brick, highways torn like ribbon. Modern seismologists estimate the principal shocks in the magnitude 7.5 to 8 range, on par with California's worst. But the Midwest holds a brutal twist. The ancient, colder bedrock of the eastern United States carries shaking much farther. A single New Madrid event does not hit one city. It can rattle an entire region. And this zone has never truly gone quiet. Since the 1970s, instruments have recorded thousands of microquakes along the same buried scars, each tiny, each easy to ignore, all of them adding up to a story we have heard before. The New Madrid system is a paradox, a dangerous fault far from any plate boundary. Unlike the San Andreas, this is not where continents meet. It is where a continent almost split. Hundreds of millions of years ago, a massive rift began to open, stretching from what is now Arkansas toward Illinois. The tear failed, never becoming an ocean, but the attempt left behind a deep, weak seam in the crust. Geologists call it a failed rift. In practice, it is a long-buried invitation for stress to pool. Over geologic time, the North American plate compresses and flexes. Millimeter by millimeter, year after year, pressure creeps back into that old wound. When the crust can no longer carry the load, it breaks. That is what likely happens. It happened in 1811 to 1812. It is what the instruments, tiny quakes, GPS hints of motion, small swells and sags suggest could happen again. In the Midwest's dense, competent bedrock, seismic waves do not die quickly. They propagate, reflect, and amplify, crossing state lines with ease. A magnitude that devastates one metro in the West might shake a dozen across the central U.S. That is why some seismologists call New Madrid a sleeping dragon, invisible from the surface, coiled beneath farms and river channels, capable of rewriting maps in a single night. Picture a magnitude 7.7 event rupturing the New Madrid zone at dawn. At first, a soft vibration, glasses trembling in kitchen cabinets, a low hum in the walls, then a lurch, another. The floor moves in long, nauseating waves. Roads heave, joints snap on overpasses, bridges sway like rigging in a gale, power lines whip, transformers pop blue in the dark. According to national planning scenarios, 7 or more states, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Mississippi, Indiana, could experience damaging to catastrophic shaking simultaneously. Downtown Memphis would be first into chaos. Unreinforced brick crumbles, gas mains rupture, cell towers drop. Highways that braid the river degrade into islands of asphalt. Ambulances search for bridges that no longer exist. Farther north, St. Louis shudders. The Gateway Arch sways. Historic riverfront districts shed brick. Power stations near soft riverbanks shut down on automatic triggers. Across the region, the shaking lingers. Minutes, not seconds, long enough to feel endless. Then come the aftershocks. Thousands over weeks, some large enough to finish what the main shock spared. Subsurface effects make everything worse. Sand blows and lateral spreading split neighborhoods into jigsaw pieces. Liquefaction, soil temporarily behaving like a liquid, tilts homes and swallows streets. Water rushes up through fissures. The Mississippi becomes unfamiliar. Preliminary consequences in such a scenario? Mass casualties and injuries numbering tens of thousands, millions facing prolonged outages and water disruptions, losses measured in tens of billions, potentially the costliest natural disaster in American history. And the cruelest edge, unlike the West Coast, many Midwestern communities lack robust earthquake codes, dense sensor networks, and early warning systems designed for seconds of life-saving lead time. Most of us associate tsunamis with the 1811 to 1812 accounts describe something you might call an inland surge, river waves, boats heaved onto banks, stretches where the Mississippi's current reversed for minutes at a time. With the modern river engineered for commerce, the stakes are far higher now. From St. Louis to New Orleans, the Mississippi is a national artery. Cities, refineries, chemical depots, grain terminals, power plants, and ports that move hundreds of millions of tons of cargo each year. A violent river surge and widespread liquefaction could shred docks, damage levees, and strand or capsize barges. Pipelines beneath the channel might rupture, with fires racing on the water's surface. The damage would not be local. It would propagate through supply chains tied to food, fuel, manufacturing, and export. An earthquake here is not just a geological shock. It is a systems shock to commerce, energy, and national logistics, emanating from a fault most Americans have never heard of. From skyscrapers in St. Louis to farmhouses near the boot heel, the same hard truth echoes. We are not ready. Thousands of bridges, pipelines, water towers, and substations across the central U.S. were built with little to no seismic design in mind. Hospitals and schools stand on or near old lineaments no one considered dangerous when they were built. Even the ground, soft, saturated, prone to amplification, can turn a distant quake into a local catastrophe. Scientists continue to watch the subtle signals, microquakes mapping old scars, GPS detecting millimeters of drift. INSAR images catching faint uplifts and sags. No one can circle a date on the calendar. The new Madrid system works on its own timetable. The last time it broke loose, the river ran the wrong way and the landscape rearranged itself. If it happens again in our lifetime, the impacts could rival the nation's worst natural disasters. The unnerving part isn't uncertainty, it's complacency. If the floor beneath you started to roll this minute, would your home stay on its foundation? Would your bridge hold? Does your workplace know where to shelter? How to shut off gas? Who checks on whom? These aren't questions anyone in the Midwest wants to ask. They're questions everyone in the Midwest has to ask. Because this isn't a matter of if, it's only a matter of when.